Alright people, what is happening? Welcome back to another episode of the F1 2021 My Team series here on the channel. Today is the Azerbaijan Grand Prix at the Baku Street Circuit. If you did miss the last episode, make sure you go and check that one out. Spanish Grand Prix. We had a nice little battle with our teammate Lewis Hamilton. Great qualifying session as well in the rain. Absolutely lashing down in that qualifying session in Spain. Full wet conditions. Make sure you check that one out, because before I spoil it, in 3, 2, 1, we got pole position in Spain last time out after a great lap in that Q3 session. Unfortunately couldn't turn it into a win. Lewis just too quick. Look at that, he's had 4 wins in a row with 3 fastest laps in a row as well. Hopefully we can break that streak today. You see we've had 3 P2s and 1 P3. Hopefully we can break Lewis's streak today. Can we get a win? It's annoying as well because, you know, I won in Imola, but then the race reset because my Xbox turned off, and then we ended up coming P2 in Imola. Bahrain as well, we were in the lead right until the final lap of the race. So there's been little moments here and there that we've just not really had any luck. So hopefully we can get a stroke of luck in this race in Baku, because that's what we're going to need to beat Lewis this season. You know, he's showing some incredible pace. I didn't realise how fast he would be in this car. Of course, we do have the best car on the grid, but Lewis is just showing a different level of pace. But like I say, you know, he's had 2 wins that he probably shouldn't have had, the Bahrain one and the Imola one. So it is just unlucky that we didn't get those wins ourselves. But that's Formula 1, and that's why we love this sport, and that's why we love playing this game, because anything can happen in these races, and it's going to come down to the wire this season. I can already feel it. You know, Lewis has a bit of a lead at the minute, and we're flying ahead in the constructors because me and Lewis are doing so well together. But in terms of that driver's title, who's going to win it? Me, Lewis? Can Max Verstappen or Callum Ilott in the Red Bulls, can they make an impact? Or is it going to be a 2-horse race between me and Lewis? We'll have to find out later on in the season, after we get through this race in Baku. I don't even know what's next. I think we have a good run of races. I think it's Canada next, and then maybe France. 2 races that I am a big fan of, and in the past in this career mode we've been very successful around those circuits there. So anyway, in the qualifying session you can see we're currently P4 here in Q1, improving on our lap by 4/10 here as we head through this very quick section. Very tricky to get that section right and not end up in the wall, but if you nail it then you gain so much speed compared to lifting through there. So there we go, across the line it's going to be 5/10 quicker than our previous lap, and it's good enough for P2. Still 3/10 away from our teammate Lewis Hamilton there. Lewis, of course, you know, he's just ridiculously fast. Max Verstappen nearly 4/10 away, and Callum Ilott a bit further off the pace, 7.5 away from pole position there. The 2 Williams getting through in P16 and 17, and if you look at the line up there, it's pretty much just the teams in order. It's us, then Red Bull, and AlphaTauri in there randomly, then 2 Mercedes, 2 Ferrari, 2 McLaren. Not really much you know, variety between the AI on this game, and it's something I wish they do improve for the next iteration of the Formula 1 games. Getting into what's it called, Q2, qualifying 2. We are on the medium tyres, trying to start the race on the mediums. So of course, whatever tyres you set your fastest lap on in Q2, you start the race on if you make it through to Q3. I don't even know why I bothered to explain that rule, because they are scrapping it in real life, so you don't need to know that anymore. But that is the rule for this current you know, thing that you're watching, so I may as well explain it. We're currently in P3, like I say, but we do need to keep improving, because of course, as we've seen many times through this career mode in the 4 seasons we've been doing it, you know, towards the end of the qualifying session people seem to just get faster, whether that's track evolution or just the game itself. We never seem to go out towards the end of a qualifying session as well, so maybe that's something we should start doing. I normally just set me lap earlier, then fast forward it the time in the quali session. Almost going into the wall there as we come out through the castle section. Very tricky to get right that castle section. There goes Lewis Hamilton, the fastest lap, a 1:36.4. That guy is absolutely insane. Can we match that? Our fastest lap at the minute is a 1:37.8, so he's like 1.5 seconds quicker than our fastest lap so far. Like I say though, track evolution or whatever you want to attribute it to, we're currently 6/10 up on our lap, coming through this section again. Managing to stay flat out, tyres gripping very nicely there. So hard to get that lined up, but once you nail it like that, like I say, you do make up a lot of time. 7.5 nearly on the delta in the positive, and we're going to cross the line with a time of a 37.2. Lewis 7.5 tenths quicker than us in the Q2 session. I don't know if he got a slipstream across the line or something, but that is ridiculous to be 7 tenths ahead of the rest of the field. He must have got a slipstream down the straight or one of the straights, because that is a ridiculous amount of speed. But anyway, looking down the grid, you can see the two Mercedes there also on the medium tyres, 2 Red Bulls on the medium tyres, everyone else on the soft tyres. Guan Yu Zhou out in P16. He's really struggled in that Ferrari this season. And Daniel Ricciardo out in Q2 as well. But his teammate Yuki Tsunoda in the other McLaren getting through. That's one of the only times I've seen Yuki out-qualify Daniel in this career mode so far in this season. Very long lap here in the qualifying, well, just in Baku in general. It's a very long lap, probably one of the longest on the calendar, if not Spa being the longest. I want to say Spa's the longest, and then it's Baku, 1 minute 30 or something, 1 minute 40 nearly on average, especially in the race. Very long lap, so to get your laps in quali, you do need to set out quite early. Like I say about leaving it till the end of the lap, you do run the risk of running out of time, which we have done many times in this career mode over the 4 seasons. You've seen that many times where I come out to do a qualifying lap and then it just ends. But we actually go purple through sector 1 there. You can see in the bottom left, even though we've not set a delta time yet to try and beat. We're purple in sector 1, which is probably my easiest or best sector on this track, bumping the wall a little bit there. In the previous seasons, I think even in the first season when we had a terrible car, I was setting purple sectors in sector 1. I just seem to nail that sector. Don't know what it is about it. Probably because it's like literally 3 90-degree corners and that's it. Nothing too technical about it, but yeah, so we seem to nail that. Heading down the hill now though towards this final section of the track, we go purple in sector 2 as well. So at the minute we're on for a very good lap here. Lewis, I don't think, has set the time yet. We obviously can't see anyone's time because we haven't set one ourselves yet. A bit wobbly coming through the final sector there. But we're going to hit the DRS zone and cross the line with a time of a 1 minute 30. What is it going to be? It's going to be a 36.2, and that is the fastest lap of this Q3 session so far. It's provisional pole. Lewis Hamilton doesn't seem to have set a time yet. You can see that, Gasly in P4, Tsunoda P5, nowhere in sight is Lewis Hamilton or Max Verstappen, so we'll have to see what they do. But like I mentioned in that Q2 session, Lewis was doing a 136.4 on medium tyres. We've just done a 136.2 on the soft. We'll have to wait and see if this guy has any pace. We tried to go again for another push lap here. Yuki Tsunoda in front of us on an in lap. You can see his red flashing light on the back there. That means his battery is charging and he's not pushing. But he just completely holds us up and we get a bit wobbly coming out of there. And we're 6 tenths down the delta. And the guy's a fool. Just get out the way for us, innit? But we go back to the garage again. And speak of the devil, yeah, look at the time in the top right, boys. 4 seconds. Can we cross the line and get another lap in before the end of this qualifying session? No, we can't. We literally just mentioned this before. I came out for another lap. And yeah, we didn't get to cross the line in time to set that lap. But we were on provisional pole before. Let's see where we finish at the end of the session. Has Lewis Hamilton beat us? No, he has not. Lewis Hamilton could not improve. Lewis starts P3 on the grid, Max Verstappen P2, and we are on pole position. That's 2 back-to-back races on pole position. If that doesn't deserve a like on the video, I don't know what does. Can we hit like on this video, boys? I haven't said it for a few videos. We've not hit 10 likes on a video for years, so hit the like button, try and get us to 10 likes. It boosts the video in the algorithm and helps me out massively. And back-to-back pole positions, I'm sure that deserves a like and a subscribe if you haven't already. Let's get into the race here in Baku.
Course to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. With high speeds, tight corners and few runoff zones, many are expecting a safety car here today, so our drivers will have to stay very much on their toes and hopefully away from the barriers. Baku City Circuit then, an unpredictable 3.7-mile track around the streets of the Azerbaijan capital. 20 turns for our drivers to navigate today, including the infamous Turn 8, one of the tightest and most challenging corners of the season. Anthony Davidson, a lot of talented drivers out on the track today, but what will stand out for you?
Well, Crofty, my focus is 100% on the front of the grid. Like you said, we're seeing lots of strong competition across those positions, so it would be super interesting to see the fight for that front spot. Personally speaking, I'm hoping for plenty of overtakes.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. It's the owner driver in pole position then, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Hamilton, Ireland, Carlos Sainz and Norris, Leclerc, Gasly, Tsunoda and Mick Schumacher, Ricciardo, Russell, Sebastian Vettel and Stroll, Aitken, Joe, Fernando Alonso and Christian Lundgaard, Giovinazzi, Latifi, Tigtum and Nikita Mazepin. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
There is the grid, boys. Now let's get into the race. We're going to go with the one-stop strategy, the medium-hard strategy here in Baku. Looking at the ultimate strategy at the bottom there, the two-stop, there's actually not much difference in the times between the two. So either strategy would be a good one. I did try and mess around with it and put soft, medium, but it wouldn't let me do that as a strategy. So I guess the soft tyres wouldn't last that long, you know, or something. I don't even know. But anyway, 5 red lights here in Baku. It is lights out and away we go. We get off to a decent start there. Try and push Max Verstappen to the inside as we come back to the outside for the braking zone through turn 1. Who's going to come out the top? It is us around the outside, miles ahead of Max Verstappen there, keeping the lead through turn 1, which was the goal. You know, we couldn't manage to do that in Spain. We did get Lewis got the jump on us in Spain, of course, from that pole position. But we managed to stay ahead here in Baku. Hopefully we can do better in Baku than we did in Spain and convert this pole position into a win. I mean, if you start pole position in a race, all you have to do is not get overtaken and you win the race. Obvious Michael Owen there, but it's true. You know, as long as we don't get overtaken in this race, we will win the race. So can we convert that into a win? You can see Max Verstappen is not going to ease up on us there. He's not going to give us a win as easily as we'd like. Good job Lewis stays behind now in P3, because that means if Max, or if we hold up Max, then Max will hold up Lewis. So it's not just Lewis against us. You know, Callum Ilott, he's out the picture probably already. But Max Verstappen looks to pull out the inside there, and there's contact, and Max Verstappen is round. Max Verstappen is in the wall. There's a bit of contact between me and Max Verstappen there. Here's a replay. Max goes up the inside of a gap, but that just isn't there. We're going 180 miles an hour through that section of the track, completely flat out. We get a warning for a collision with Verstappen, but what else am I supposed to do there? We're going flat out round the left-hander, 180 miles an hour, and Verstappen tries to send one up the inside. Like, what is the guy thinking? And that is our teammate Lewis Hamilton, who's been caught up in that collision there by Max Verstappen being spun round into the wall. Lewis tries to reverse and get himself out of there, but there comes 2 more cars around the corner, and there's a big crash. Somebody goes into the back of Lewis Hamilton. Oh, absolute chaos here in the first lap in Baku. That's Antonio Giovinazzi in the Alfa Romeo. He's got no front wing left. That guy's going to have to go into the pits. Here's Max Verstappen's perspective. I want to know what this guy saw to try and make that move. Coming out the castle section, he gets a good launch compared to us. Gets in our slipstream and just pulls out. But look how tight this gap is he tries to go through. Could I have gave him more space? I guess, but not really at the same time, because it's completely flat out. We're going there 180 miles an hour. There's not much I can do to the car. You know, I can't really make a quick adjustment on the wheel because I will spin, especially in that section of the track. Very easy to spin there. But there goes Giovinazzi into the back of Lewis Hamilton. Giovinazzi missing his front wing there. But what was funny is that when Giovinazzi hit Lewis, his front wing didn't come off. There was no debris anyway, so he must have lost that wing earlier. And here's the start of the lap. The start of the race. Giovinazzi into the back of Christian Lundgaard in the Alpine, who goes into the back of Guan Yu Zhou. 3-car pile up there. You can see there Giovinazzi losing his front wing through turn 1. And he's holding up one of the Haas cars there. I think that might be Dan Tickton maybe, or Nikita Mazepin. One of the 2 Haas. You can see clearly the flashing yellow light there. Giovinazzi should have slowed down, but as he comes round this corner, just right in the racing line, smashes into the back of Lewis Hamilton. Couldn't slow down with that missing front wing, and then he has to reverse and let Max Verstappen out. But that is a massive impact and a massive moment in the race. You know, our 2 main rivals are missing from this race now. And I'm just checking the bottom left there. You can see Max has still not got his car going. I'm wondering if he's got damage. He's still there in Sector 2 where that yellow flag is. And we can see Max now. Once he untangles himself from Lewis and from Antonio, he does a little 3-point turn to spin his car around one more time. And then look at that. He just starts turning his wheel, but his car's not going. So he's just stuck on the track, turning his wheel. I don't know if his car's broke or if that's just a glitch. But there is a virtual safety car deployed because Max is stuck on the track. And as we come around turn 2 now, you can see there Max Verstappen has been disqualified from the race, boys. So I don't know if that's because his car wouldn't move, or if it was just a glitch and he just didn't accelerate and he was just turning the wheel, which would be very bizarre. But Max Verstappen, the guy in P2, the guy who was going to be our biggest threat in this race, as long as he kept Lewis Hamilton behind him, disqualified from the race on lap 1. And our teammate Lewis Hamilton, if you look on the map, he's way down in P20, I think, right at the back of the pack, right at the back of the race. Callum Ilott, the man behind us now, 2.5 seconds or 2 seconds behind as we get the safety car restart. Callum Ilott was a good few seconds behind us before that the virtual safety car came out. So if the VSC didn't come out, we could have just created a massive gap to P2 and probably just ran away with a win here in Baku. But on the safety car restart, or the virtual safety car restart, you can see there Ilott 1.5 seconds behind. We had to lift coming through that flat out section. The AI, they don't care about tyre temperatures, tyre wear. They take every corner flat out when they can, and you can see that is evident there how much time Ilott's made up. Nearly 5/10 he made up coming through that final section, just the final sector, just because we had to lift a little bit because our tyres weren't gripping enough, because they were quite cold on that VSC restart. Didn't do the best job of keeping heat in those tyres there, but we managed to keep Ilott at that distance. DRS just got activated, which I didn't think DRS got activated until 2 laps after a safety car. Maybe that's just a full safety car and it doesn't count for a VSC, because the VSC only lasted for half a lap anyway. But yeah, we managed to keep Ilott out of DRS range, which is going to be huge. Pierre Gasly, though, in P3 on the soft tyres. I wonder if Pierre Gasly could have an impact on this race, running an alternate strategy to us, of course, because he's on the soft. We're going medium hard. I wonder if he'll be doing soft, medium. But we go purple through sector 1. We've already got the fastest lap of the race, of course. There's only been one actual racing lap here so far. But coming through the castle sector now, trying to get it a bit more neat compared to what we had in that first lap, which allowed Max to obviously get a great launch and then try and overtake us. But look, as we come through this sector here, you can see just how fast it is, right up against the wall on each side. There's not much room for, you know, quick adjustments of the wheels to give people space, or there's not much room to even overtake. Here would be a better overtaking opportunity. We're going downhill into a heavy braking zone, into like down into like 3rd gear or something, or 4th, depending on how like you drive, basically. So Max, he should have just stayed behind us. Admittedly, he was quicker coming out of the castle, but he should have stayed behind and then shot down the inside of us, down into that downhill braking zone. But he doesn't do that. He crashes into the back of us, or into the side of us, and then spins and goes into the wall. It's a 140 flat for us there. Fastest lap of the race so far, and spoilers, fastest lap of the race for a long time. Here we go on lap 4. The gap to Callum Ilott now 2.7 seconds, so we are putting that gap in. We saw in quali that Ilott didn't really have the pace to match me, Max or Lewis, so hopefully that translates into race pace as well. Pierre Gasly not really threatening anyone as well. Pierre Gasly is just a way behind, just getting some nice camera angles in here of the beautiful silver Arrow car that we have for this season, with the purple on, of course, inspired by that McLaren car I did mention in the pre-season video. That is where we got the inspo for this season's livery from. But as we get to lap 7, I can see Lewis Hamilton come into the fray in the top left. He's in P5 now, overtaking a few people who have came into the pits. But he's got a 5-second penalty, Lewis Hamilton. So we're going to go and check the race director and see that Giovinazzi got a warning for a collision with Lundgaard. Lundgaard collision with Giovinazzi. Guan Yu Zhou collision with Lundgaard. Max Verstappen 2 5-second penalties for illegal blocking. Then a third one, which got him disqualified. Lewis Hamilton though, 5-second penalty for a severe collision with Antonio Giovinazzi. It's just absolutely crazy first lap. Just pure chaos in every sense of the word. So Lewis has a 5-second penalty now. Lap 10, you can see the gap now to Ilott, 7.3 seconds. We're really pulling some quick laps out compared to Callum Ilott. We're coming in this lap as well. This is our time to box. And as we come through, Callum Ilott goes into the pits, so he's going for the undercut strategy. And I didn't actually notice that while racing, boys, which is a massive moment that I did miss while racing. I didn't realise Callum Ilott went into the pits. Our teammate there, Lewis Hamilton, goes into the pits as well. But as we check in the top left to see Callum Ilott, what he comes out on, obviously we're on the one-stop strategy, medium hard. I thought Ilott would be doing the same. Callum Ilott comes out of the pits on medium tyres. So Ilott's running the alternate strategy, should be going on to soft tyres later on in the race. But, like I say, I did not realise that Callum Ilott had gone into the pits, and especially realised that he'd gone in for another set of medium tyres. But we come into the pits now, and this is where I didn't realise that, you know, he'd actually pit. I just thought he would be behind us or something. I don't even know what I thought, to be honest, now that I'm looking at this. But we saw controversial moments in the past where we get overtaken while in the pit lane. Can we have a good pit stop here and not get overtaken? It's a 3-second stop. It's slow. It is definitely not one of our best. As we come out, though, of the pit lane here, we have a little look behind us. Callum Ilott, he's on his way round through turn 1 into the braking zone for turn 2. We are going to be 4.5 seconds ahead. But before we came into the pits, we were 7 seconds ahead. So Ilott has made up, or now it's 3.5 seconds. Ilott's made up like 3.5 seconds or something. 4 seconds while just going on with that undercut strategy, going with the one underneath. But remember, his outlap then on his new tyres was on mediums, we're on hards. But like I say, I didn't realise that he'd came in for a new set of mediums. But more chaos. Nikita Mazepin out of the session. Now, with it being Nikita Mazepin, I expected to see half a car with one wheel just crunched in a wall, but it's just engine failure. Mazepin pulls over to the side there, retires from the race. Shouldn't even be in the race anyway. He's just so irrelevant. He's just there to get lapped, and he 68% wear on the gearbox there, though, boys. I just seen in the bottom right. Very weird, you know, I didn't expect that. But here on lap 17 of 26, Callum Ilott's caught up to us. Look how close he is right now. He's made up a lot of seconds there. I didn't really click with these hard tyres, you know, I can't lie. Didn't really find that sweet spot or you know, to find the grip on them. But Ilott within DRS range now, coming through this sector. We have to lift again, otherwise we'll go in the wall. Just couldn't nail that sector at all on these hard tyres. That's where Ilott made up most of his, you know, made up most of his time. But he's got DRS now down the home straight. Who's going to have the faster car? Of course, it's him with the DRS through turn 1, though. We've got the outside line through turn 1. We give him space up the inside, but the outside line through turn 1 in Baku is so superior to the inside line. We get a massive launch out of there and manage to keep the lead, but we head into another DRS zone. So we pull over to the left to try and break the toe with Ilott, and he doesn't manage to catch us there at all. But the end of lap 18, though, same thing again. He's in DRS range. He looks a bit further ahead this time, but we managed to stay alongside through the outside line again, and we managed to stay ahead of Callum Ilott on lap 19. And coming to the end of lap 19 now, Ilott launching another attack. We're trying to break the toe by staying to the dirty side of the track, almost driving into the pits there. And speaking of, Callum Ilott goes into the pits, and this is why I realised Ilott has gone into the pits for what I thought was the first time this race. I was like, how is he driving so fast on a 20 lap old set of medium tyres? But look at that, he comes out on the hard tyres for 6 laps. What is that for a strategy? Medium, hard. Did he run out of soft tyres? Did he rinse them all in qualifying so they're not ready for a race or something? What is that? What is that for a strategy? Red Bull or Callum Ilott? Who made that strategy? What is that? Medium, hard tyres for 6 laps of the race. What is the guy thinking? I was thinking if he's on soft tyres, he could actually threaten us there, because I was not clicking on these mediums and on the hards, and the soft tyres are so much faster, of course, than the mediums. But after that, boys, we just had a nice little stroll around the streets of Baku, just taking in the sights, waving to a few of the fans. Lap 23 of 26, 3 laps left, you know, taking it easy, flying through the streets, getting some nice camera angles in. That's a nice camera angle there. I've not seen that one all race. Someone just stood on the corner of the track there. Lap 24, same thing again, just having a nice little stroll through the streets of Baku. That's cool, the way you can see the other cars on the other side of the track. It's mad how there's just one wall separating the track there. But yeah, lap 26 now, Callum Ilott ends up 13.1 seconds behind. Terrible strategy from Red Bull there. Don't know what they were thinking, but we are going to see the checkered flag and cross the line there with a race win.
Inshallah.
It's been a while since I've said that. We have not had a race win for quite some time, and there we go, George Russell, driver of the day. We crossed the line. We got a bit of luck early on with Lewis getting held up by Max, and Max, of course, spinning. But like I mentioned in the qualifying section of this video, we needed a bit of luck, you know. It's what we deserved after the thing in Bahrain with getting overtaken on the last lap, with my Xbox turning off after winning in Imola, and then coming P2 in Imola on the replay of the race. Yeah, we deserve this win. We deserved it. I don't care if you can say like, oh, you should have gave Max more space. I don't care. I don't actually care. We deserved a win. Callum Isle up there in P2, an ex-teammate of course, so nice to see an ex-teammate on the podium next to us on that step, just showing that the school of Sasuke Racing, we create legendary drivers over here, do you know what I mean? Apart from Dan Sixton, we forget about him, but yeah, he doesn't count him, the big absolute unit, big fridge freezer for a head, we don't talk about him. Landon Norris in P3, he's had another podium in this season. Lewis Hamilton though, he ends up P4. The guy is ridiculous, nearly 2 seconds quicker than everyone else with his fastest lap of the race there, and of course he's on a 2-stop strategy and ended up in P4 at the end of the race. I can't believe how quick this guy is, but yeah, there we go, Lewis Hamilton, the man to beat this season. I thought when I saw him down in P20, I thought, oh my god, he's going to finish outside the points, this is going to be massive point gain for us, but we just need a bit more luck this season, you know. We need Lewis to have some engine failures, some crashes maybe, and then we can make up that gap. Look, the gap to Lewis is 22 points. All we need is a race win and Lewis to DNF now, and then we take the lead in the driver's standings. But something tells me that he's going to have a few DNFs, but so are we. You know, just got a feeling, like the Black Eyed Peas said. But anyway, heading back to team headquarters now. The next race is the Canadian Grand Prix. Can't wait to get into this one, because it's one of my favourite circuits to drive, and I don't think I've drove it yet on wheel and pedals, so that'll be fun. If you have enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. You know the vibes. I will catch us next time, people. Take it easy.